Hey everyone, welcome back. And we're here for another vlog. And this time I have come back from the seminary that I attend and had a great time. I took a course called Issues in Ministry, and it was really good. I had a bunch of professors come in, and like about every 45 minutes, another professor talking about just different ministry related things. And so I had to take a lot of notes. That was pretty intense. A lot of typing to make sure I was getting everything. I'm going to have to, at the end of the course, I'm going to have to turn all of that stuff in. And then, of course, we've got some assigned reading that we have to do with and write a paper on all of these books. This one is The Master Plan of Evangelism by Robert Coleman. And then Simple Preaching by Rock Collins. And I'm going to talk about him in just a second. And then Celebration of Discipline, The Path to Spiritual Growth by Richard J. Foster. Now, I'll be reading these probably within the next couple of weeks and then go ahead and write a paper on each one. So thankfully with this course, it's kind of an intensive course. So it was the course work was just a lot of stuff that we did during the conference, but then they also assigned us this work, and they'll let us turn it in sort of after the term, because the term ends actually in a couple of weeks. So that's what we've got going on. And then I went to the conference, and the conference was great. So Dr. Rock Collins was one of the speakers, and along with Richard Burgess. Now, if you don't know who that is, he used to be on the Rick and Bubba show. And then a few years ago, he broke off from the Rick and Bubba show, and he just started the Rick Burgess show. And he focuses on evangelism for men and discipleship for men. He's got a program out there called the Man Church, where it's basically a curriculum for men's ministries and things like that. So that's pretty cool. But they were both great speakers, had a great time, very encouraged. And, one of the topics, and, I kind of brought it with me a little bit because it was in my head and my heart. I kind of put a little bit of that into my sermon this last Sunday. But one of the topics was on suffering and how important it is as a man, and particularly as a man of God, to suffer well. And just as a reminder that the Lord hasn't called us to an easy life. If you do have an easy life, that's great, but that's not necessarily what we all will have. And there's so many men and women who have gone through this life before us who did not have it easy. Christianity hasn't always been easy. And as we know right now, Christianity isn't easy in every part of the world. So, I can think of Nigeria right now where they're struggling. Some very, very sad stuff going on right now. But anyway, it was a great conference. I was very blessed to be a part of that. It was cool. So there was one really big takeaway that I got from that, and that is, well, not really takeaway, but just something interesting when I went on campus. So I thought I was going to be the only older guy there. And, I'm like, I walk on campus, and like, man, I haven't walked on a college campus in 20 plus years, right? And so I'm walking around looking at the grounds and everything, check out the library, go to the mill hall or the DFAC facility, whatever. And that was cool. That was good. I mean, just being back in the vibe of college it's a little weird. I spoke to a young lady that was, I had to get my student ID and talk to her a little bit about, where I'm from and the church that I pastor and all of that stuff. And she's from a similar area. And actually, we grew up in another area that's like north of the state. And anyway, so I'm talking about the town, and I haven't been there since I was in high school. And then I realized, she's 20 plus years younger than me. And the town that I'm talking about is the town that she knows. It's a mountain town where we didn't have any restaurants. Now they've got like 6 or 7 restaurants in the mountain that I'm talking about. And, it's just a different town. So, that was interesting to see, loud drum. But that was interesting to have that difference in our age groups. But anyway, so then I go into the actual course in the conference for other pastors like myself. And I found that, in this particular conference, there were a lot of pastors that were my age and some older, a lot younger. And so all going back and getting their degree. So I want to encourage you that if you're thinking about going back and getting a degree, or you're thinking about starting something new, it could be a new business, it could be something, but if the Lord is calling you to it, I think you should do it. You know, a lot of people, I've got friends and family members that when they have gone through their midlife crisis, they choose to get new tattoos, or get a new wife, or brand new sports car or whatever. And for whatever reason, the Lord has called me for higher education during my midlife crisis. So I'd much rather do that. And I'm not trying to say that I'm better than anyone or anything like that. I'm very blessed and thankful that that's what the Lord has called me to. It's just exciting, and I'm having a good time. But I want to encourage you to do something similar. It doesn't have to be going back to that education route or anything like that. But what could it be for you? What is it that you've gone your whole life thinking about? It could be as simple as guitar, right? I've got a friend that is just now starting to play guitar. Now, it's something that I wanted to do whenever I was a child. And then when I finally became an adult, right around 21 years old is when I had the money to go ahead and buy myself a guitar, get myself a guitar instructor, and started playing guitar. And from there, started playing piano and stuff like that. And I'm not good at piano. I'm really not that good at guitar either, but I've been playing it for a long time. And I love it because I love music. I'm very grateful. But this guy, he's actually a member of our church. He's just now getting into it, and he's maybe a year or two older than me, something like that. And I'm excited to see his growth. I hope that he continues with it, or something similar, because it's just good to kind of stimulate that brain a little bit, right? To stimulate that heart. And I think he wants to use it for God's glory, and that's even better. So that's what I encourage you to do. Find something like that. It could be anything. And, it could be a physical activity, right? So just going back to the gym, can you use that for God's glory? Absolutely, you can. You can witness to people at that gym. You can be an encouragement to other people at that gym. And do you think that you can serve the Lord with a healthier body? Absolutely, you can. So these are things I want you to think about. And I appreciate you watching this video. And as I catalog my journey, and I said I would talk a little bit more about Dr. Rock Collins here, the author of this book. And man, he's your old school fire and brimstone preacher. And I was told before we went in that he's a preacher's preacher. And boy, they were not kidding. And again, I was excited to be a part of that, and be encouraged by the word of God that he brought. So anyway, that's it. That's all I've got. And we'll see you guys on the next vlog. I'll talk a little bit more about the end of the term and how everything went. I'll wrap it all up for this term, and then we'll get ready for the summer term, because I'm doing that too. We'll see you next time.